So this is like my 10th time recording this video, and I just want to get this knocked out before the end of the night because who knows if I'm going to go on another hiatus. And there's a reason why. It's not because I don't want to make videos. It's not because anything really. It's not because I don't have time. I have a little bit of time, but it's not that. It's quite literally I am in a constant panic attack all the time. I mean that in a very serious way, because I'll talk for like 10 seconds and then out of nowhere, just like that like iPhone spinning wheel shows up in my brain. So, that's like a very big problem because I have so many videos that I want to make and I literally physically cannot make them because my mind hates me, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, this has got to be the most traumatic thing I've ever had to endure. And a funny story about this is, what actually brought this up was, I was in my hometown chilling with one of my friends at my mom's house, and we were smoking in my car, and I was telling this story. And the next thing I know, I remember telling him, I said, yo, I got to step outside to get some air. Next thing I knew, I wake up and my mouth is implanted in the ground. I ate shit because I fucking fainted. So I'm gonna have to say this is probably the most traumatic experience I've had to deal with. And to tell you the truth, I haven't been the same person since this day. So this kind of happened right at the beginning of when I started to get into drugs. But I will say, I can say with confidence, this was not drug-induced. I believe this was an anxiety attack combined with me just not sleeping correctly. And when you do that, and when you're not, especially when you're doing drugs, but when you're not like taking care of like your brain, you might be good for a little bit, but there's just gonna be a point where everything boils over. And I believe that's what happened here. I used to work at like a manufacturing plant with my dad for a short period of time. It was, it was less than a year, I think. But no, I actually liked this job. Like, this job was incredibly easy. It was barely working. Basically, what it was, at least what I did, was I pushed a button and took parts in and out of a machine. And truthfully, you could fuck off at this job all the time. But that's where I worked at this time, and I'm kind of glad I got laid off here because there was a bunch of people there who got like a bunch of fucked up illnesses like cancer. My dad did. This is where I worked at the same time as him. I don't know if it's related or not, but just in general, a lot of people got just stuff that you don't want to deal with. So I was at like a station by myself, and I remember this day kind of clearly, at least leading up to it, because I remember I was just telling my sister, I was like, I just feel like hungover. Like, I did not drink before. Like I said, this was not drug induced. I did not even like smoke weed every day at this point, I don't think. But yeah, this was just a terrifying experience. So the day went kind of normal. My shift went until 11:30 p.m. and this was the last break. So this was roughly like 9:30, 10, sometime around there. And the day wasn't like, I just felt tired. So I sat down at this chair in our break room right next to my dad, and I fell out of the chair, and I hit my head on the ground, and my dad was like, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm good. I get up, and I go to walk into the bathroom, and it's on these concrete steps. I fall, hit my head. Next thing I know, I am having a seizure. I banged my head that badly the second time that it caused me to have a seizure. And at that point, my dad kind of like picked me up and was like, no, we're going to the hospital right now. And I remember coming like in and out of consciousness on this ride. So everything goes black. I don't remember what happened. Probably 10 or 15 minutes pass. I remember them putting me into like a chair. It wasn't like a room, but it was like a chair where they like check all your like vitals and stuff. I haven't been in a hospital in a long time, guys. So whatever this room is called, where they like, you're not in the actual room. They're just like taking like all your like information, like asking you questions. Like it's just past the front desk, whatever that's called. My medical people could probably answer that for me. But I remember answering questions just about like, I remember she commented on something. She commented about like how I looked, and then my dad said he doesn't miss many meals because at this time I was much smaller than I am now. I was probably like 160 to 165 pounds. But I was like, I did the same thing. Like, I was like in shape. But I mean, it's hard to tell. So people probably thought I was just like skinny or whatever. So I don't know why I remember that question. The next thing I know, I'm wearing grippy socks. I'm not able to leave my bed. And the nurse comes up to me and asks, hey, can you squeeze my hand as hard as possible? Now, I get it. I just had a concussion so badly to the point where it caused a seizure. And I even asked her, I said, are you sure? She said, yes. So I proceed. Next thing I hear is, ouch, okay, fuck. That was her way of getting me to stop. And I apologized. I said, I'm so sorry. And she said, no, that's good. She's like, I was just making sure that you have like function of your hands, and clearly you do. And at this point, I so badly just want to go to sleep, but of course they won't let me. It's probably 1 or 2 in the morning. My phone battery is dead. I'm not even thinking about that. But in the back of my mind, there was a woman I was talking to, and we actually ended up dating, who, when I charged my phone the next morning, was very pissed off at me, and I tried to explain to her the situation. And of course, like, she understood. But I remember I had an iPhone 4. Fucking goated model. Don't give a fuck. Fuck all these people who have these long ass phones that are big as hell. I'm not only saying this because I have tiny hands. They're fucking annoying. Why do you need such a big ass phone for? Anyway, so after the great Apple 30-pin connector search, they finally able to get me hooked up, and I'm looking at my phone and stuff. And I'm looking at texts, and it is like I've done the most acid I've ever done in my life. Like, no joke. I never done acid and Molly together, but this is how I would imagine it would be. I could not read one thing on the screen. Dude, it looked like an NCAA 06. You motherfuckers remember that game? Dude, I spent so much time on that. Like, dude, me and my cousin used to fucking square up. Fucking spring drills. Anyway, it was like an NCAA 06 when you had the crowd pumped all the way up. When I was reading, I could not read anything. Every line was like a squiggly line. And it was not good. I had a sore jaw. I had a sore fucking skull, obviously. My fucking brain at this point. I mean, nowadays, it's probably like 75%. Like, if you did a brain scan on me, it's probably 75% like cooked ground beef. That's what it would look like. Like, my shit's cooked. My shit's fucking, or scrambled eggs. That's a better analogy. That's my brain these days, just scrambled eggs. Because this isn't my first concussion, by the way. But I'm very concerned at this point. And I bring that up to, like, the doctor, and they said that was, like, kind of normal. But they were more concerned about my jaw at this point. Which was weird because I mean, I probably bruised my jaw, but they thought it was broken. I couldn't tell, dude. Like, I couldn't feel anything. Obviously, they probably gave me some shit to not feel anything. But even when it happened, like, I get it, like, adrenaline, but it wasn't even that. Because when you fucking faint and you come back, you come to, at least with me, my heart rate isn't, like, pounding. Like, it feels the opposite. It could be pounding, but, like, how I actually interpret it is, like, it's not. It's like 4 a.m. at this point, and the nurse comes in and she says, "All right, looks like everything has come back fine. If you fall asleep, like they're gonna be like monitoring me." And right when she said that, it feels like I just like knocked out. My jaw hurt, my head hurt. I had a very pounding headache, but I could still. I was reading. There was like a newspaper, so I could read. So I'm like, all right, good. I haven't made myself permanently retarded. Dope. I remember my neck hurt. Like badly. Like I couldn't turn my head to the side. And I remember the doctor coming in once they saw I was awake. They said, "Hey, you took quite a fall there. You have a pretty strong jaw." And like I don't remember what I responded with, but it was probably like, "Yeah." I don't know. My brain is still like very messed up at this point, but it's much better than it was. Luckily at this point they kind of like consider me out of the woods and I'm able to go home. And I was at the hospital for like, I don't know, maybe like 12 hours or something. It was just overnight. And I don't know, man, like this is just something I've been thinking about a lot. And I thought about this a lot, like for years, and kind of just compressed it. But this has got to be like a turning point in my life, because my speech and my just how I like process things has been forever altered since this day. I really don't know how to explain it. I'm sure if you talk to somebody who's had a very serious concussion or a concussion and seizure could probably back me up on this, but you just don't experience life the same. That's just concussions in general. And obviously, I did hard drugs for years after this, but no drug I've ever done has done the effect that a traumatic brain injury has done on me. So if there's anything that you guys can take away from this video is, if you're ever feeling weird at work, don't think you're being a pussy. I know there's some guys who have this mentality, but if something's off, do something. Say something. Say, I gotta leave work today. Hopefully your boss understands. I know if you work a blue-collar job, that's kind of like frowned upon. Like, yeah, when you work a blue-collar job, it's very like football guy activity where you just suck it up and you just do things that it's not good. Sucking it up, you have to know what's worth sucking up, what's worth toughing out. And definitely, if something's off with your head, do something. Don't try to fight it. And I don't know, don't have anxiety. I don't know. I mean, that's very difficult for me to say, but like, you guys know what I'm saying. But yeah, so that's the story about how my life changed forever.